What if I told you that your mind isn't entirely yours, that your thoughts, your attention, even the way you feel in a given moment are constantly being shaped, tracked, and sold? That every scroll, every click, every split second of focus is harvested, analyzed, and packaged, and that the system does not want you to think about it. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode with me, Ani. This episode is about quantum capitalism, a hidden layer of modern living where reality itself is engineered and consciousness has become the ultimate commodity. Here, what you perceive as choice, freedom, or individuality is often curated, filtered, and manipulated. The moment you think you are deciding may already have been predicted and profited from. In this episode, we are going to explore how your mind is hijacked and why it is designed to keep you reactive, distracted, and compliant. And how, most importantly, awakening begins when you notice the glitches in the system, because once awareness enters the loop, nothing is ever quite the same again. Imagine this. Every glance you give, every fleeting desire, every emotional spike, someone somewhere is tracking it, not just for fun, but to predict how you will feel and what you will want next, and how they can sell it back to you. Your attention, your emotions, your behavior, all of it has become a currency, a product bought and sold in invisible market you didn't even know existed. Consider this. Cultural narratives and trends don't spread randomly. They're amplified when they trigger fear, envy, or urgency. When something goes viral, it is often because it sparks exactly the right emotion to hijack your focus, to make you react, scroll. Even the content that you think is free entertainment. It's a lab for testing what captures your mind the fastest. Here's the controversial part. Your thoughts, desires, and even your identity aren't purely yours anymore. They are traded like stock in a market you didn't choose to enter. A market where emotional reactions, not rational decisions, are the most profitable commodities. Your insecurities, your cravings, even your dreams can be predicted and monetized. Imagine a world where the feeling of jealousy, inadequacy can trigger a series of curated stories, images, and symbols that shapes not just what you buy, but how you see yourself, who you chase, and even who you love. Your mind becomes the product, and the system profits while you think you are freely living your life. And the real horror, in my opinion, of the system, it is invisible. You rarely notice the manipulation because it feels like your own thoughts and choices, your own identity, until one day a glitch occurs and you start questioning everything you thought it was you. Have you ever noticed how the world always seems to give you just enough uncertainty to stay on the edge? How crisis appears endless, deadlines never stop, and worry seems built into the very fabric of your daily life. And there's a reason for that. Fear and scarcity are powerful levers. A scared mind is a predictable mind, and a predictable mind is easier to guide, manipulate, and profit from. Think about it. When you're anxious about whether you are enough, whether you have enough money, status, or approval, your attention narrows, your energy contracts, you react more than you reflect, you conform more than you create. And this is exactly what keeps the system running smoothly. Reactivity and emotional loops aren't accidents. They are invisible feedback loops engineered to harvest your energy and your attention. Every panic, every sense of lack, every trigger insecurity strengthens the invisible architecture of control. And here's the mystical and slightly, some would say, conspiracy truth. Everything you panic over, every fear that grips you, every scarcity that haunts you, may have been engineered to keep you predictable. It's not just society or culture, it's the very system that profits from your distraction, the structures that thrive on your compliance. And yet, there is a crack in the design. The moment you notice the loop, the panic, the pattern, the moment you step back and observe instead of reacting, you begin to break predictability. And that's awareness is glitch. That consciousness is rebellion. And once your mind stops being predictable, the system starts losing its grip. Let's go a bit deeper. Because quantum capitalism doesn't just monetize your attention, it specifically disrupts feminine power. At her core, a woman's natural strength isn't force, it is present, discernment, magnetism. Real feminine energy does not chase, it attracts, it observes before it engages, it chooses before it gives. And that kind of awareness, it's very hard to control. What happens? The system subtly rewires the instincts. Instead of magnetism, women are taught to perform. Instead of discernment, they choose constant availability. From a young age, the messaging is very clear. Be desirable, be agreeable, be impressive, be visible, compete, keep up, do not slow down. A woman who is always performing is a woman who is always consuming content, trends, validation, comparison. And woman who is chasing is distracted from her inner authority. When a woman is grounded in her body, calm in her nervous system, and deeply discerning, she becomes unpredictable. She doesn't react to scarcity. She doesn't panic by identity. She doesn't overextend for approval. And that sovereignty cannot be easily monetized. So the instinct flips. Instead of attracting, she is encouraged to hunt. Instead of receiving, she's told to prove. Instead of resting in presence, she's trained to stay busy, visible, optimized. But here's the glitch. The moment a woman stops performing and starts observing, the moment when she asks, why am I chasing? Who benefits from my insecurity? Who profits from my exhaustion? The spell weakens. Because feminine consciousness is not loud. It's not like a loud rebellion. It's very quiet discernment. It's the power of choosing where your attention goes, who gets your energy, what deserves your time. And in a system that profits from reactive, overstimulated minds, a woman is in her full, calm self-awareness present is revolutionary. Not because she decided to fight the system, but because she's no longer predictable within it. Capitalism is used to extract labor. Then it extracts data. Now it extracts something far more intimate: energy, attention, and emotional charge. Your focus is no longer passive, it is measurable, predictable, trendable. Every surge of outrage, every spike of desire, every late night spiral of comparison is a data point. But here's where the quantum layer comes in. In physics, energy exists in fields: invisible, dynamic, responsive. In modern society, your consciousness functions like a field. What you focus on strengthens, and what you react to amplifies. What you fear becomes neurologically prioritized. And the system knows this. Neuroscience shows that dopamine reinforces behavior loops. When you scroll and receive novelty, dopamine fires. When you check for validation, dopamine fires. When you feel anxiety, then temporary relief, guess what? Dopamine fires. Your brain wires itself around whatever is repeated. Over time, this conditions compulsive checking, urgency addiction, comparison loops, overwork patterns, and emotional reactivity. An anxious mind consumes more. An overstimulated mind questions less. A tired mind complies faster. Let's go one layer deeper. Some of what we call reality is being subtly steered, not in this dramatic sci fi way, but in small nudges. What trends rises, what narratives dominate, what fears circulate, what identities feel aspirational, what feels urgent right now. Your perception isn't random, it is filtered. And when millions of people are being fed slightly calibrated version of reality based on their emotional triggers, the collective field shifts. But here's the glitch. Quantum system changes when observed, and so do you. The more conscious you become of your own dopamine loops, of your own conditioned anxiety, of the way urgency hooks your nervous system, the less automatic you become. You pause before reacting. You notice before consuming. You choose before engaging. And in that pause, the steering weakens because the system thrives on unconscious momentum. But awareness collapses probability. When you observe your patterns, they lose some of its grip. And that's the paradox of quantum capitalism. It can monetize your energy, but only if you don't realize it's happening. The moment you see it, you're no longer just a consumer in that field. You become a conscious participant, and that changes everything. So, how can we reclaim sovereignty? Now, here's a part that matters the most, in my opinion. Awareness without action just becomes intellectual entertainment. So, how do you actually reclaim your mind? It's not about escaping society, it's not by deleting everything and disappearing, but by shifting your relationship to attention. Please, this is very important, so please pay attention. Start treating your attention like a resource. Notice what triggers you, what drains you, what hooks you emotionally, what keeps you looping longer than you intended. Low vibe reality thrives on distraction and reactivity. It feeds on emotional spikes and nervous system activation. Attention hygiene, I'm sure you've heard of this before, means asking, is this worth my energy? Is this expanding me or exhausting me? When you choose not to engage, you break a micro loop, and micro loops matter. Now, the system operates in your head, in our head. Sovereignty returns through your body, slow breathing, walking without distractions, eating without scrolling on your phone, sitting in silence. Why? Because presence interrupts conditioning. When you come back into your body, you leave the predictive loops of your mind. You stop reacting automatically. You regain sensation, not stimulation. A regulated nervous system is far less programmable. Ask questions most people never ask. Who benefits from this fear? Who profits from my anxiety? Is this belief mine or it's installed in me? This is where the quantum twist appears. In quantum physics, observation changes outcome. In life, observation changes patterns. Think about Westworld. The hosts are programmed to repeat the same narrative, the same emotional responses over and over, unaware of the loops they are trapped in. When a host suddenly notices a pattern, a memory that shouldn't exist, a question that breaks the flow, the loop weakens. That tiny observation sparks the glitch. Now, compare that to your own life. Behavior loops. You notice you react with irritation every time someone interrupts you. Suddenly, that reaction isn't automatic anymore. You pause, you choose. The loop weakens, just like a host realizing it doesn't have to follow these programmed responses. Or scarcity narratives. Society teaches that you're behind, you're not enough. The moment you spot that this story is repeating, wait, why do I always feel like I'm lacking? Its power diminishes, like a host recognizing that the story of the town, the bank, the salon isn't real, it's programming. You influence relationships, people respond to your calm, conscious presence instead of the triggered automatic version. You shift the collective field. The ripple effect of awareness grows just as one host's awakening slowly disturbs the control of the system of the park. Consciousness is contagious, just like a glitch in the West world. Your awareness doesn't just liberate you, it starts rewriting the loops around you. Also, boundaries aren't aggression, they are energetic filtration. What you allow in shapes your inner world. What you tolerate repeatedly becomes your identity. Saying no to overstimulation, overwork, overgiving is saying yes to sovereignty. And sovereignty is not loud, it is very calm, it is deliberate, it is selective. Today, just once, notice a moment where you almost reach for distraction. Pause. Choose awareness instead. Maybe it's not opening your app. Maybe it's not reacting immediately. Maybe it is sitting in discomfort instead of escaping it. One conscious pause, that's the glitch, because quantum capitalism relies on momentum. But sovereignty begins in stillness. And once you experience what it feels like to intentionally choose your attention, even once, you'll realize something profound. Your mind was never lost. It was just waiting for you to come back and claim it. Before we finish, please remember that your mind isn't entirely yours. Every fear, desire, and thought has been tracked, analyzed, and sold. The system thrives on your distraction, panic, and reactivity. But here's the glitch. Awareness is rebellion. One small pause, noticing a pattern, a trigger, a conditioned reaction, collapses predictability, like a host in Westworld realizing that this is a loop and they start to choose differently. For women, reclaiming attention reconnects you to magnetism, to discernment, presence. Stop chasing, stop performing, step into quiet sovereignty that is calm and powerful, that will break the loop. Every conscious choice ripples outward. You change your energy, your reaction, your relationship, and even the collective field. Today, notice one moment you almost reacted or scrolled out of habit, then pause and choose awareness. That tiny glitch in the beginning of reclaiming your mind, your energy, your sovereignty. Your mind was never lost. It's waiting for you to claim it. So, beautiful souls, thank you for being here and thank you for giving me your time and your attention. If this episode resonated, please share it with someone who is ready to receive this message. Our attention is power, and together we can start noticing and breaking the loops. And until next time, stay aware, stay bold, and always go beyond the mind.